Ladies, gentlemen, and those that clicked on this video accidentally, welcome to the showdown. The iPhone 16 Pro Max, the X that promises they've changed versus the Galaxy S25 Ultra, the hey, I also promise I've changed. Two phones, one victor, and a whole lot of fanboys battling it out in the comments. Let's dive in. First up, the design. The iPhone 16 Pro Max is still rocking that grade 5 titanium. It has a curvy, sleek, and minimalist look, enough to make a snake jealous. It's like the James Bond of phones, classy, timeless, and probably hiding a laser somewhere. Just hopefully not there. The iPhone 16 Pro Max does look like it went through a bad breakup because it actually weighs more than the phone that it's replacing, the iPhone 15 Pro Max. This weighs 227 grams. So this thing has definitely had its fair share of Ben & Jerry's ice cream. Kind of like me. And here's the Galaxy S25 Ultra looking like it just stepped out of a sci-fi movie. Very slim bezels, rounded corners, flat in all the right places. Samsung really said, let's make this thing look like it can transform into a robot. It's thinner than the Galaxy S24 Ultra, coming in at only 8.2 millimeters, but don't worry, it will not bend if you sit on it like you would with the iPhone 6. Remember that? Yeah. Now, the Galaxy S25 Ultra also uses titanium, but Samsung didn't really specify which grade it is. For example, on the iPhone 16 Pro Max, we have grade 5 titanium, which is the same titanium they use on the Mars rover and on some hipster glasses. So, yeah. You guys remember that meme where people were saying that if you buy an Android phone, you're broke? Well, that's not the case anymore. The S25 Ultra is $100 more expensive than the iPhone 16 Pro Max, but I don't know why, it seems like Samsung just loves to lose money. Because you can get the S25 Ultra for as low as $400 because they have weird, crazy trade-in deals going on. And on top of that, Samsung is going to give you $300 of credit to use for things like cases, accessories, and whatever else you want. Those deals, I think, will only last for like another 2 to 3 days. So if you guys want to pick this phone up, you better hurry. I'll have a link down below in the video description. Unlike the iPhone eating Ben & Jerry's, the S25 Ultra got bullied and decided to start running as a hobby, as well as eating chicken that's dry and unseasoned because protein. And of course, it lost some weight. It only weighs 218 grams, which is kind of wild for a 6.9-inch phone with a 5,000 milliamp hour battery. So what about the cameras? Well, the iPhone 16 Pro Max packs a 48 megapixel main camera, which is kind of like having a mini DSLR in your pocket, if your DSLR only weighed as much as your car keys. On the other hand, the S25 Ultra is like, alright, iPhone, hold my beer, with its 200 megapixel sensor. Now that's enough pixels to make your photos look like they were taken by a NASA satellite. I do feel that the S25 Ultra takes the more balanced photo, which is kind of ironic coming from a Samsung, but it's also more detailed when it comes to the 5x lens. Now, of course, if zooming is your priority, the S25 Ultra takes the cake. It just really comes down to which style you like best, and really no matter which phone you choose, they will both look great. Video on the S25 Ultra has also been improved by a lot this year, and it can now record in log up to 8K 30, which is just insane. Stabilization as well as low light performance has also gotten an improvement, and well, for the first time ever, I actually don't mind recording my vacations on the Galaxy S25 Ultra because they will look fantastic just like they did when I was at Coco Cay. Speaking of videos, the lens flare has also been dramatically reduced, and it is much better than on the iPhone, which has those weird mini UFOs flying around. Actually, on second thought, maybe those were the UFOs that everyone was seeing recently. Something to think about. AI is also here on both phones, but only one of them do it right. First up, Apple Intelligence on the iPhone. It's like Siri finally got a degree in AI and then just decided to work at McDonald's. You have visual intelligence, aka Google Lens, for recognizing what you're pointing at. You have Genmoji for creating weird, creepy emojis. And you have AI Audio Mixer that can make your voice sound like you're in, a recording studio or a, karaoke bar. The implementation of AI right now on iPhone is just poor. Like, most of the good features, they're not even out yet. So, hey, Apple, Why do you keep advertising them? For example, Object Eraser made its way to iPhone for the for the first time ever after Android has had it for years. So it must work good, right? Right? No. I mean, seriously, I took a photo of me holding the Apple TV remote and then I tried to erase it on my iPhone and this and this is the result. I look like I was eating radiation since I was a kid. Apple, what is that? Why does my hand look like that? But now let's, oh, I can't stop laughing. But now let's take a look at the Galaxy S25 Ultra. And this is the result it gave me. It actually blew me away. Like, it even got the fingers right. Samsung, how are you doing this? I truly don't get it. But let's go ahead and do another test. So I took a pic of this cup and I tried to delete it on the iPhone, and this was the result. Apple, again, man. Dude, I cannot do this. Meanwhile, on Samsung, this was the result. And no, it's not fake either. For all you haters, I actually did record a video. So there you go. The display on these phones are both absolutely incredible, but which phone takes the cake and which phone takes the wet dog? Now see, the Galaxy has a trick up its sleeve. It has an anti-reflective display. So let me go ahead and line up the two phones with my light in the background. And you can see there's a massive difference. This helps so much when you're outside and with the sun peeking over your shoulder trying to read your Instagram DMs like a jealous ex-girlfriend. The S25 Ultra remains easily visible, whereas the iPhone is just incredibly reflective. Now the S25 Ultra also gets brighter, 2,600 nits of brightness compared to only 2,000. But before you start popping open that bottle of champagne, you Samsung fanboys out there, you must know the iPhone 16 Pro Max does have more support for HDR, such as Dolby Vision, which is missing on the S25 Ultra. And the iPhone 16 Pro Max is also using a 10-bit display compared to an 8-bit display on the S25 Ultra. Now, what does this mean in normal people talk? Well, a 10-bit display can show 1 billion colors, and an 8-bit display can show upwards of almost 17 million. So 1 billion versus 17 million. I, on the other hand, didn't even know more than 10 colors existed. 1 billion? Come on now, that's insane. I couldn't even tell you 5 colors off the top of my head right now. I really couldn't. Now, battery life has also been sort of a mixed bag, kind of like Chex Mix, one of my favorites. With the iPhone, they've usually been incredibly good with battery life, but for like the past 2 iPhones, it's just been decent for me, like not really all that good. For example, the most battery I've got this week was only 5 hours and 20 minutes of screen on time while using 80% of my battery, or roughly 80%. The S25 Ultra, on the other hand, I also used 80% of battery exactly, but I got 7 hours and 20 minutes of screen on time with 20% left over in the tank, which will easily get me over 8 hours of screen on time. Now, keep in mind, this is just the way I use my phones. Your mileage will obviously vary. Now, charging speeds are also kind of different. So if you picture the iPhone, you kind of want to picture it as like some old tortoise that's living through the Great Depression. It's not living, really. It's kind of just surviving through the Great Depression. This phone, I can't even believe it still, but this phone takes nearly 2 hours to fully charge from 0 to 100%. This has got to be the slowest charging phone. I'm not even kidding when I say this, by the way. This has got to be the slowest charging phone ever, like out right now. This is the slowest. This phone, on the other hand, it's not fast, but it's better. You get around 1 hour and 15 minutes to fully charge this phone. So, to be honest, both of these phones are kind of slow compared to the competition, especially from the likes of Xiaomi or even, or even my OnePlus 13. This phone takes 35 minutes to charge from 0 to 100%. Yo, OnePlus, whatever you're doing, can you please share your techniques with Apple and Samsung? Please. Now, Siri on Apple Intelligence is about as smart as me after a few drinks. It's not. Google Gemini is so far ahead of Siri, it's not even funny. It's like bullying a 7-year-old kid when you're 30. You wouldn't do that. And the crazy part is, basically every new Android phone, or even some old Android phones, have Google Gemini. Like, they're implementing it into their own phones. So as of right now, so many Android phones out there already have a leg up when it comes to virtual assistants. I mean, seriously, look at that. Look how long it took Apple to implement an object eraser, and this is the result. So what about the performance? Well, you have Apple's A18 Pro. Try saying that fast 5 times in a row, am I right? Against the Snapdragon 8 Elite made for Galaxy. You have 8 gigabytes of RAM compared to 16, oh, not 16, I caught myself, 12 gigabytes of RAM on the Galaxy S25 Ultra. All in all, I honestly don't notice a difference. I mean, don't get me wrong, I notice the RAM limitations on iPhone. Like, sometimes I'll notice my iPhone refreshing apps like much more frequently than my Galaxy S25 Ultra. To be honest, it doesn't ruin the experience all that much, but it's there. But as far as like actual like fluidity, they're both amazing. They both, of course, go up to 120 hertz. They both go down to 1 hertz. It's been great, but I must mention that the iPhone does have a lot more bugs. Like, for example, I keep running into this bug. I don't know why Apple doesn't fix it, but whenever I open up my camera on my iPhone, it's just a black screen sometimes, and I have to restart. I have to restart my phone for the camera to work again. Like, this has been an issue since like iOS 18, and now I'm on iOS 18.4, I believe. So, Apple, fix it. So with all that being said, okay, I love iPhone. I know I may not like sound like I do in this video, but I really do. But it's sort of like that love where, for example, if you have 3 kids, you have to love the weirdest one more so it doesn't feel left out. You know what I mean? That's kind of how I feel with iPhone. Like, I love it, but like, something's wrong with you. Whereas the S25 Ultra, I love it because it's just smart, it's helpful, and it's just a great phone. So, I mean, I don't know. Which phone do you guys pick? Do you guys pick the iPhone 16 Pro Max? Do you guys pick the Galaxy S25 Ultra? I know which one I'm picking. I think it's an easy win, the S25 Ultra, but I'm more curious on what you guys have to think. So let me know your opinion down below in the comments section. And if this is your first time here and you like no BS tech videos, definitely subscribe. And if you guys enjoyed this video, you found it funny, informative, whatever else, definitely click that like button. And as always, this was Mark from Mark's Tech. Adios.